Welcome back to another episode of FNM TV. This week we are going to be going over round one over here. We have Corey Patient versus Antonio Illis. Antonio is a very close friend of mine. Just started coming back to card games in general. Decided to start playing with us in Magic. Glad to have him back. So Antonio is piloting Big Red Machine over here. That's a mix of Big Red and Machine Red. So this is also the last week of Cobblade being legal. And by Cobblade being legal, I obviously mean Jace the Mind Sculptor and Stoneforge Mystic. So, as you guys can see over here. So, turn one, it looks like that's a core duelist, and then also Stoneforge Mystic. Antonio played 2 mountains in past. Antonio's weighing his options right now at 2 mountains. I have to be honest, I haven't really seen a whole lot of Antonio's deck. So Antonio slow rolls it, plays a mountain. Antonio doesn't know how to slow roll, so I'm actually kind of I don't exactly know what's up, but he does Galvanic Blast to kill off Stoneforge. Smart play. Very, very smart play. He hasn't really played against my Cobblade deck either, so it's kind of interesting to see Antonio play the way he has been, especially as a new player, knowing what to do, like, pretty much naturally. Oh, and he plays the Cunning Spark Mage and kills off the core duelist. And Corey Patient's a very good player. Very underrated, I think, player at our FNM. He has a lot of skill. He doesn't really say a whole lot, but he's definitely, I'd have to say, one of the better players that plays over at FNM now. So, Corey ends up playing a Pure Steel Paladin, which is a very scary card. In tandem with Stoneforge was probably a really good combination for an off-meta deck. That was probably just on the cusp of meta-worthy, and how quick it was. And he'll play another Pure Steel Paladin, and he'll pay the 2 to equip it. And then it looks like he's going to pass off turn, deal 1 damage to Corey with the Cunning Spark Mage. Antonio reaching and draw a card for his turn. Got 5 mana altogether. 6 mana altogether. So I actually had to watch this game a couple of times originally. I haven't watched it upon this recording, but when I watched it initially, when he played this here, I had no idea what he was doing or what that card was on the right. But it turned out to be an Inferno Titan, which is what he just dropped. It's the new artwork off of the Duel of the Planeswalker promo for the PlayStation 3. So, very interesting to see that. And now that he has a Pure Steel with pro red out, pro white, and lots of damaging effects and life gain, we'll see how this ends up going. So Antonio's going to take 2 extra damage here for cards in his hand. I'll play a Squadron Hawk. I believe the Germ Token card is Batterskull. However, he also runs Flare Husks, so pardon me for yawning. I've been working an overnight last night, so you'll probably hear a bunch of yawns from me. I apologize. So, Squad Hawk's going to search up some buddies. Always like to keep friends around. It's kind of funny that Squadron Hawk wasn't reprinted in M12, seeing as the tagline was "Gather your allies." Just, I guess it wasn't gathering enough allies, or maybe it gathered them too well, and that's why it's not back in the fold. So, Antonio play off his Koth, Animate a Mountain. That is a Mortar Pod foil. Even better. It's kind of cool. I'm a fan. I want a foil Mortar Pod. I mean, I don't use Mortar Pod, but I would like a foil one. I'm actually kind of curious what the price of it would be right now. But it's neither here nor there. Antonio's deciding what he wants to do for battle. Personally, I would probably swing it with everything, except for the Cunning Spark Mage. And I would... It only taps it, doesn't it? Yeah. And Cunning Spark Mage will end up killing off that. Yep, one shy of Metalcraft on that one. Antonio got pretty lucky for that dispatch. So I'll take the additional damage for cards in hand. It looks to be 1 or 2. Corey will play a land, and he has 4 cards in hand, so he can dig deep for whatever he wants. Looks like multiple Hawks if he needs to. It's actually sort of an interesting strategy to be able to equip those Hawks with those Mortar Pods to keep off Cunning Spark Mages from hitting the board. Well, they'll hit the board, but they will die upon entering, pretty much. Or upon activation of any effect or switching of phase. So, Antonio's sitting with 2 cards in hand. Couldn't exactly see what they were. He'll go in with the Inferno Titan. Take out the 2 Hawks, and I assume deal 1 damage to him, so we'll end up taking 7 in total. Or he could Fire Breathe if he really wanted to at this point. And that's a Volt Charge, I believe. Koth will go to 5. He'll ultimate and get an emblem. And that's pretty vicious. Koth is dead. Put it in the graveyard, Antonio, or is that 1? I'm pretty sure it is in the graveyard. I could have miscounted, but I don't see a dice on Koth, so. Until kill in response. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Antonio. You're my pal. So, that's 1 equipped up Hawk. One would ask how it could handle that much equipment, but to ask that question is futile, because the game is called Magic. So that's why I can. So, Hawk equipped with sort of War and Peace, equipped with a Mortar Pod, staring down an Inferno Titan, and a bunch of mountains that do a lot of damage. Now, in Corey's game plan, in hindsight, you can still swing at the player when you're doing when you're hitting with a War and Peace. The damage you can redirect to the Planeswalker off the cards in hand. So he could have literally kept that Koth in check for a while. Maybe deal 2 damage to it one turn, and then swing and do all the damage to him down the next turn. But I mean, it's really hindsight, although with Koth you really just want to make sure he's taken care of. And that'll actually be the game 1 for Big Red Machine against White Weenie. Antonio Willis, my friend, ends up taking this one. So we'll move on to round 2 and see if Antonio can close it out, or if Corey got a little bit more in the tank to fight back. Thank you for watching. Follow along. We're moving on to the next one, and I hope you guys will follow me there too.